can also confirm today that I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes committed on the territory of the State of Palestine from at least the 8th of October 2023. The crimes include starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, willfully causing great suffering, serious injury to body or health or cruel treatment, willful killing or murder, and intentionally directing attacks against a civilian population, as well as crimes against humanity of extermination and or murder, persecution, and allegations of crimes of committing other inhumane acts. My office submits that these individuals, through a common plan, have systematically deprived the civilian population of Gaza of objects indispensable to human survival. We have reached that conclusion based upon interviews with survivors, many eyewitnesses, experts, from satellite imagery, statements from Israeli officials, including the 2 individuals subject to the present application, as well as based upon several hundred authenticated videos, photographs, and audio recordings, many of which were taken and shared by victims and eyewitnesses themselves. My office charges Netanyahu and Gallant as co-perpetrators and as superiors in the commission of these alleged crimes. Israel, like all states, has the right to defend its population. It has every right to ensure the return of hostages that have been criminally and callously taken. Those rights, however, do not absolve Israel of its obligations to comply with international humanitarian law. Intentionally causing death, starvation, injury, and suffering to the civilian population, including so very many women and children, are criminal means to achieve military and political goals. That's what we allege. I have reasonable grounds to believe that 3 senior leaders of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, Mohammed and Ismail haniyeh, bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes committed on the territory of Israel and the State of Palestine from at least the 7th of October 2023. Extermination as a crime against humanity. Murder as a crime against humanity and as a war crime. The taking of hostages as a war crime. Rape and other acts of sexual violence during captivity as crimes against humanity and as war crimes. Torture during captivity as a crime against humanity and as a war crime. Other inhumane acts during captivity as a crime against humanity. Cruel treatment during captivity as a war crime. And outrages upon personal dignity during captivity as a war crime. My office submits that there are reasonable grounds to believe that these 3 Hamas leaders are criminally responsible for the killing of Israeli civilians in attacks perpetrated by Hamas and other armed groups on the 7th of October 2023, the taking of hostages, and the other crimes alleged in our applications. My office also submits today that there are reasonable grounds to believe that hostages taken from Israel, taken from their homes, taken from their communities, have been kept in inhumane conditions, and that some have been subjected to horrendous sexual violence, including rape, while being held in captivity. Those who do not comply with the law should not complain later when my office takes action based upon solid evidence. That day has come. Today we underline in the clearest possible fashion that international law and the laws of armed conflict apply to everyone. No foot soldier, no commander, no civilian leader, no one can act with impunity.
Al Jazeera.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The International Criminal Court prosecutor today announced he's requesting arrest warrants against Prime Minister Netanyahu and of Israel and your counterpart, Mr. Gallant, over accusation of war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. My first question, will your administration support this case, and will you cooperate with the court on this case? And the second question is, the U.S. being the main supporter of Israel, and in light of this case, will you reconsider the provision of weapons to Israel, some of which have been used to kill Palestinian civilians, according to President Biden? Thank you.
So I've seen press reports of, the ICC seeking arrest warrants, but I don't have anything to provide on that issue. Again, our focus continues to be on providing Israel what it needs to defend itself. That's been our focus from the very beginning, and as President Biden has said a number of times, our support to Israel remains ironclad. I think it's important to reflect back to how this got started. This brutal attack on October 7th, a number of Israeli and American civilians were killed in that assault, in that terrorist attack. There were over 230 hostages taken. Half of those hostages remain in custody. And so, again, our focus remains on providing support to Israel in its efforts to defend itself. And we very much would like to see the hostages returned safely. And in terms of the decision to provide weapons to Israel, again, I won't engage in any type of speculation going forward, but again, my hope would be that we do what's necessary to protect civilians in the battle space, and you'll hear me say that over and over again. I don't think the two things are incompatible. I think you can conduct military operations effectively and also account for civilians in the battle space. We have learned a lot. The United States has learned a lot in terms of this type of operation over the past several years, and again, there are ways to do this where you can account for both. You can protect the people and also accomplish your objectives.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share.